CSGO agenda here, and this is Backscatter Echo, checking in from a public server here where I've been given some really gaudy gloves. But, of course, I would try to pick like the most loud pair of gloves I can. Anyways, I don't really have much to show in the game. I'm just, I don't know. I actually don't even know what I did with my webcam, so this is just a little vlog. I want to talk about throwing. There's a lot of people in the game right now who don't know the game and just run around basically like death matching, and then but they're like fragging, so they can't really say they're throwing completely because they'll be fragging and sometimes often top fragging, but they're just doing stupid shit. Like, they're not dropping weapons, they're not calling anything, they're not like playing the game of Counter-Strike. I just want to make this video for people because I know there's still like a wide skill gap in the game, and I don't know, like a lot of people think they're playing Fortnite, or a lot of people went to go play Fortnite. I'm not really sure. But either way, I think that it's important to have strong role models and leadership and yada yada yada. So basically, I'm here to tell you that these people who are running around doing this stuff, are not good players of the game. It doesn't matter how many kills they get in a server or whatever. They don't understand the game. And a lot of times they're throwing specifically because they know that they don't have skill, and they know that they don't like understand the whole fundamentals of the game or have the patience to play the game properly or whatever it is. They have an awareness of this, and so because of that, they just run around and be stupid because they don't want you to look like they're trying and then look bad. So anyway, it's just a bunch of fucking ego shit, and it's stupid. So I'm here to tell you if you want to get better in the game, you want to improve in the game, it's important just to like ignore people like that. Obviously it's fine to like have a little bit of fun in the game, and if people are laughing or being funny or whatever, you can engage a little bit in that. But as far as like working together and calling things, like, this is non-negotiable. Like, it doesn't matter how much you're winning, it doesn't matter how much you're fragging, it doesn't matter how many kills one person has or another has. It's a team game, and even if you're winning, you're not winning legitimately if you're not playing using communication, coordination. So the idea is even if you're pugging and you're playing with strangers, to come up with some form of cohesion. And like, I'm sure various pugs, you've seen that, where like sometimes you're playing against a team, but they're not really a team, they're just 5 pug members, but because they're willing to just work together, maybe they're not even the greatest players, but because they're willing to take risks and and back each other up, or they're talking, and because of the talking, they have a good amount of timing, and so their timing is, it's like you can have 5 way better players on the other team who are just getting fucking destroyed because their timing is off. And again, people who are just like trolling around and throwing, or whatever they say, quit throwing or whatever. It's you can't throw when you don't have the skill to begin with to be able to dominate the round. And then so like that's flipped. When you flip that the other way around, like, I could have 4 open players on my team, 4 silver players on my team, and if they're willing to like follow the leader, if they're willing to follow the leader, if they will follow the strategies, we could dominate like 5 main players, because um, anyway, because the amount of coordination. Anyway, um, I've this could it could be construed in a lot of different ways. Like you could have two really good teams, but one team is just like really much better at aiming, and so like I've had this when I was like playing matches where you have like teams where we have some of these just really nutty players of like crazy aim, and so you have to counter their play style and their skills by not like over peaking spots or like really coordinating your peaks so that you're peaking together or so that you're peaking when it's your teammates pop flashing for you or when it's smoked or whatever because um, you know you don't get a second chance to like peak something because they're just insane freaking aim. And then there's other examples of that too, but basically the name of the game is adapting. And so I can't tell you how many times I've actually made really good players rage the game because we were able to overrun them with quote unquote bad players because the bad players were playing together, and so they weren't playing anyway. You'll see that in the game, like round two, after like a team wins a round, they get cocky and they decide like, it may be round two or maybe round four, whatever, but someone calls a strat and then like instead of following the strat because they're winning, the other guy goes like, "Oh, I'm just gonna lurk over here and hold the push," and then it's like the entire strat's fucking busted, and then the other team like pushes the other way, and then everybody just dies one at a time, and it's basically a real easy example of how the ego or just like getting overconfident can completely ruin the cohesion of a team. So um, um, uh, oh, I didn't write a script because this shit isn't scripted. Anyways, I guess if I wanted to like charge you money and then like pay myself, I would like spend the time to like write a script or something. No, it's not really like that. It's like that there is a lot of information in my head. Um, Nearly 15 years of playing the game just like solid. So every evolution of the game, all the different versions of the game, all the different versions of the map, and I'm still learning new things. Like, people, you like, are just talking about adapting, so like, yeah, I have weird calls for some stuff, and people like, if, if you can't call what people are like wanting to hear, then you may as well made no call at all, so like, I'm still like, okay, well, like, what are people calling this spot or whatever. Um, I don't like when people like name every spot Olaf or like, I mean, basically using players' names. I've said this before too. I mean, we used to call, big box on the B side in D2 like K sharp or, it's like you don't call it that anymore. So, like, call spots like that aren't, I guess, meant to last forever. However, I guess that this game went real major, and you got to take into consideration that a lot of people have learned how to play this game from watching professional players in matches. So whether it's streaming on Twitch or a lot of things, and I don't know that that's a bad thing, but it's interesting for someone like me who literally learned by the book. And like I spent so much of the time that I was playing just studying the game, like spending time, with 5 players in a server, like practicing smokes and splashes, and then even running, best of threes with other teams, like boot camping, and then like talking to them about like what worked, you know, really kind of building up the meta. Um, and so it's just a different way of learning that, the different mentality and stuff like that. So I think when people learn the game from watching, it's good in some ways because you can kind of see the overall picture. Like whereas like when I was learning a lot of stuff, like I didn't know why I was learning it. I was like really confused a lot of the time. I was like, you know, um, anyways, you know, there was a lot of yelling and screaming too, because you know you're feeling the pressure of wanting the expectation and then not really knowing exactly what that expectation is. So I think that I just wanted to flash him and kill him with my pistol blind. Made him mad. This map is sort of cancer. But uh um uh well, I really wanted to just talk about the throwing in the game though, because it's something obviously, being a female player is difficult. People want to like get distracted and be like, oh, what color did you paint your nails today, or whatever. And it's really important to stay focused on the game. So when people are just kind of being relaxed and just like, oh, I'm not playing seriously, you should see me play seriously, um, just like do what you can do. Not always, it's not always really about what you say, it's more about what you can do. I mean, like as a female player, the easiest thing, the hardest thing is getting in a game and then just not saying anything, because as soon as people hear your voice, they want to like get distracted and talk about different things. But the easiest way to get respect from your team is to come in first, second, and third round and just clutch really freaking hard and be on top of the scoreboard, and then talk, and then say something like, "Oh, try harder," or like, "I wish you guys could be a little more serious," or or just even stroking someone's ego, like, "Oh, that was a good shot," or whatever. And then other people are like motivated, like, "Oh, I want to do well too." So, um, yeah, one flanking from B. Anyways, you could try that tactic. I don't think that you have to necessarily be a girl to 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 stroke someone's ego. That works. Everybody likes their ego stroked. So, um, little tactics or ways to try to keep the game serious. Obviously communicating is good, but sometimes communicating will get you in trouble because people will just like shut you down. So it's like when I'm running in to a site and there's a guy right in front of me, I do try to call it before I go for the kill in case I miss the kill, and then like, so if there's a guy right behind me or like close by to be able to pick up the trade, they can do that. But sometimes actually making the call delays you just enough that it's you'll maybe miss them just because you're trying to make the call. So prioritize shooting people first, and performing, and then also communicating is really good too. But also, I mean, there's debates as to like how people take matchmaking more seriously, or Faceit or ESCA. Um, Personally, I do see people taking matchmaking more seriously in some regards, but it's not, it's still not as competitive. Like the actual environment in a Faceit pug is a lot more competitive. Yes, it takes more time to get the match, or well, less time than ESEA for me anyway. But like, it takes a few minutes to get the match, and then once you get the match, you get in the server, and if you don't get all five, it cancels the match, and like you may have to do that a couple times. So it takes a little bit more time to actually get the game started than it does just to like click the Valve matchmaking. But it's so much more worth it because once you get started, you know, you're at a more competitive setup. Um, you can talk in game, through the game, you know, all that stuff, and then all the way to like if you are able to bring it back to a tie, then overtime is played out. I know a lot of people like complain about that, but you know that's if you're really like working on you know, dominating a map, that's you know how it that's how it works. So that, you know, it's like you don't, it's not over until it's over. You know what I mean? And so I don't know too much with like matchmaking stuff. People are like, oh, it's 13-1, you know, let's forfeit. And okay, yeah, I get it. Like if there's like a bot or you're just straight, you're not feeling it or whatever. There's reasons in matchmaking that you'd want to just forfeit a map, but like in a competitive environment, 13-1 is nothing to get down about. Like if you have a decent team, you can pull it together and like as I say, just start playing this game like at any point in time. Like I don't need a gun. I don't need fucking anything. Like you just need to start playing the game. You need to start talking to your team. You need to start calling what you see, calling what you hear, calling what you kill. And that's like, you know, just prioritize that. Woo! Learn to Glock. It's a huge skill. But yeah, no, really though, using the pistols. All right. Um. Uh. Um. Uh. I'm going to finish up this video so it's not like the longest download in forever, and I don't have to commute to get internet anymore. So I'm gonna be trying to make some more content, and I'll be available for, you know, requests for content or I don't know, you know, more interactive feedback. I really appreciate all of the likes, shares, and damn, I'm getting wrecked with the shotgun. But I do appreciate all the activity on the videos, and you know, anyway, it's definitely it's fun for me, and I like to, you know, help with the evolution of the game. I think that there's definitely some like a pivotal time right now. Like I said, like I don't know, there's somebody saying like everybody's playing like Fortnite killed the game or whatever. I don't know if that could be a good thing because it could just get rid of like all the players that want to be playing Fortnite. And you know, through my experience in the game, there's been a lot of different like shifts like that. You know, like and it's usually it's for the better. Um, Alternately, the opposite of that is, you know, Valve like epically trying to ruin the game, to the point where, you know, in a lot of ways they fully succeeded with CSGO, and so that's why it's really important that that people play Faceit. I should have just muted everybody. I did turn the volume down, but I want to get on that. Of course, they had to add some stuff, and then they made it so you can jump up without a boost. So that's terrible. It's horrible. All right. I hope this video helps you like get momentum in the game when people are being fucktards and holding their dicks or whatever, you know, even if you're like 0 and fucking 10, it doesn't matter like the amount of kills or whatever. It's really, it's a, you know, it's a mentality in the game, and I don't know, you know, it's just silly that people want to be like, It's always like that. It's always gonna be like that. Like it, you could be the greatest player in this game. Like you could be, just like an amazing professional player who people have seen hit the most amazing shots all the time. And the second you like come out of the gate and aren't performing, it's just like you're fucking spent, dude. You're fucking rusty. You're old news. you're, you know what I mean? Like it just doesn't matter how much success you've had in the game if you can't constantly shit on people and show them where their place is. Then you're gonna get just sort of left behind. I don't know. They talk about like internet years or whatever. It's like, but in this game, you know, it's always going to be about that moment, that round, and it's like, dude, it's like usually it's like, oh, well, like, you know, it's 2 a.m. and we're in a pub, or like, what does it matter, But how high up? Trying to get a raven. All right. What now? This server is actually really fun. It's like a 5v5, but I don't even know. Alright. Good game, guys. I'm gonna probably go on more about this subject, maybe in a more formatted way. But that's all for now. Please like, share, subscribe. Peace.